Hi everyone, my name is Ashlie, Ashlie, and please don't forget to subscribe to me. Today I'm going through all of my blushes. I want to see what's still good, what still works, the good formulas, what I'm going to be tossing or getting rid of. So get comfortable and let's get right into it. The first one I want to talk about is the Tarteist Contour Palette because I didn't get to shout it out in my bronze video, and I do want to mention that this palette smells like chocolate and it makes me want chocolate so bad. It smells just absolutely amazing, and I really do enjoy this palette. It has a nice mirror and it has a highlight, bronze, contour, and blush, and it is absolutely incredible formula. I am definitely keeping that. From The Balm, I have Girl Powder. I absolutely adore their packaging. I think it's pretty cute. It has a range of shades and it also has a highlighter. I think this formula is very nice, but I have so many blushes and I never ever seem to reach for this, so I'm going to put it in my get rid of pile. This beautiful blush from Milani is in the shade 1 Romantic Rose. I have had this for years now and it is becoming on the dry side, but I do love the formula. But since it's expired, I'm going to be tossing. I bought the Hourglass blush in the shade Diffused Heat. This blush actually frustrates me because if you look, there is more white than pink and you have to really blend it together to get even a light shade of pink. I'm just not a big fan of this blush and I'm going to be getting rid of this blush. From Believe Beauty, we have a cream blush in the shade Doll Face. I absolutely love this blush and it was definitely worth the money. I purchased this blush from Dollar General and it is such a good formula and it is extremely easy to use and it blends out like a dream. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this. I have a blush from Ulta Beauty Mineral Blush in the shade Southern Sunset. This shade for me is a little bit too dark, so I'm going to be getting rid of this. And I have a blush from e.l.f. It is one of their putty blushes in the shade, it says on the side, Bahamas. It is on the very orangey side, and since I had it for over a year, they actually tend to dry out a little bit. So I'm going to be getting rid of this. I have another putty blush from the e.l.f. This one's in the shade Tahiti. I literally have to dig my fingers inside. It is just sorry, there's like a little fuzz. It is extremely dried out and it looks horrible on my skin. It just looks very patchy. It's very dry. And the formula is nice when you first get it, but it just tends to dry out so fast that I'm going to be decluttering and I'm not going to be purchasing any more of the e.l.f. putty blushes. Hopefully there'll be other ones in the future, but this formula for me is just not cutting it. From Milk Makeup, I have in the shade Work a lip and cheek duo. This is the color of that. I do actually like this formula. I got it as a sample with a purchase. I am going to be keeping this and using it a little bit more often because I only used it a couple times, so I can't really get an honest opinion on it, but I do like how it feels. It feels nice and creamy, so I'm going to be holding on to that. I have 2 MAC blushes. This one's in the shade Melba. It is gorgeous and they are so soft. This one's in the shade Desert Rose. I love this. This is one of my favorite shades. I only use them once, so I need to keep reviewing them, so I'm going to be keeping them. From e.l.f., I have the shade Blushing. It is extremely chalky and it's very, very light. You can hardly see it on my skin, and the more you blend it out, it literally just blends away. So I'm not a fan of this e.l.f. formula blush either. I'm going to be tossing that. I have all of these blushes from The Balm, and to be honest, I have had them for at least 2 years, and they are well expired, and most of them, except for one, I believe, has hard pan, but this one is more on the blush bronze side, and I literally just have so many other bronzers and blushes that I really just I'm not a fan of the shade, and I just don't really need it. So I'm going to be tossing these. Next, I have Rocketeer from Benefit. This smells amazing, and it's kind of like a light, see, I swatched a little bit. It is in between a light blush and a highlight. I kind of think it died on me, but it does smell so good. I am going to be tossing that. I forgot I have another MAC blush in the shade Fleur Power. This I only tried maybe once or twice as well, and I want to try it a couple more times. I am definitely holding on to that. Next, I have from ColourPop the blush stick in the shade Cool It. It is such an amazing creamy formula. It is very, very easy to use, and I just could never get rid of this. It is definitely worth the money, and I really, really love ColourPop's formulas, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this for sure. I have 2 blushes from Essence. This one's in the shade Beloved, and this one's in the shade Befitting. This one is the top pink, and this one is the bottom. I really do like the formulas, and they are actually extremely affordable. I got them from Ulta. These are probably one of my go-tos if I had to go to a drugstore. Very easy to use, good formula. They're very creamy, and it's very easy to build them. I am definitely keeping these in my collection, and I would love next time I go to Ulta to go buy me some more. From Laura Geller, here's what the swatch looks like. I have this in the shade Baked Blush and Brighten because it does have a nice shimmer to it. This just is extremely expired and it has hard pan. I'm going to have to toss that. From NARS, I have the blush in the shade Orgasm. One of them are old. It actually got hard pan, so I unfortunately have to toss this. But I love the formula. Actually bought me a new one, and I'm going to be keeping it. You can see it has just a nice sheer shimmer to it. It is just so beautiful on the skin. I'm going to be keeping this in my collection. From ColourPop, I have the Disney Designer Enchanted Mirror. Here's what the front looks like. It is so cute. It has a little mirror and a nice pink blush. It looks so awesome on my skin. It is such a beautiful light pink color, and it is so pigmented that I only had to dip my finger just a little, and it throws off nice, beautiful pigment. I am definitely keeping that. Next, I have a blush and highlighter duo in the shade Litchi. I swatched the blush and the highlight. In my opinion, it is nice, but so many others that are just like this, I am going to let this go and give it to a friend or somebody else that may need it that I know. I'm going to get rid of that. From Rare Beauty, this is in the shade Love. This is a little dark, but it little bit literally goes a long way. All you have to do is put 1 to 2 drops, and you start blending it out on your cheeks, and it is just so stunning. I can show you, here is one little dot, and I'll show you what it looks like all blended out. It literally just throws off so much pigment and is very easy to blend. I really do love this. I think Rare Beauty has the most stunning shades They are actually one of my absolute favorite all-time cream blushes. I'm definitely never letting these go. I have another blush from ColourPop. I think the top is so cool. When you move it, it changes. This is in the shade Sailor Moon. It is such a cute pink. I love this shade of pink. It looks just like a Barbie doll pink. I definitely could never get rid of this. It is actually one of my favorite blushes. I have another ColourPop blush in the shade Prenup. This feels literally soft as butter, but it just gives off no pigment and it blends out. I think this is expired. I did have this for a long time, so I will be tossing this one, but trust me, the formula is good. So if you get it, don't let it sit around for a couple years like me, and it won't go bad. From Sephora, I have the blush in the shade Hysterical. I have literally had this for 3 years, and I have not touched it but maybe once or twice. I was never a huge fan. It just doesn't give off enough pigment or anything really. I felt the formula just a bit on the cheap side. It was very chalky. There's like just no pigment. I'm going to be getting rid of that. I have the Hank and Henry in BB Rosa. This is such an incredible formula. I have to say, I really wish it wasn't as expensive because this would be my go-to. I think it is the perfect shade of pink, and it is extremely pigmented. With one swipe and you blend it out and you're done. It is just so simple, and I really, really love their packaging. Definitely keeping this. I have two e.l.f. blushes, Monochromatic Multi-Stick. This one's in the shade Guava, and this one's in the shade Peony. I think they're both nice. One's a little bit darker and warmer, and one's a little bit more on the pink side. I actually really do enjoy using these, and they are cheap at the drugstore. Definitely going to be holding on to these and use them more. I have this from Kylie Cosmetics. This one's in the shade Barely Legal, which they actually don't sell this one anymore because of the name. But I was never a fan of the formula, and I think it was a very, very dry formula. So I'm going to be tossing that. From the brand Ilia, I have this in the shade Dreamer. I just think it is way, way too dark for my skin tone. But I do know someone that I think really may enjoy this at my job. So I'm going to be tossing this and giving this to her. I have an Ofra blush in the shade Winter Rose Glow. I just think this is too dark for me, but the formula is nice. But since it's too dark, I really never reached for it. So I'm going to be actually getting rid of this one. I have this palette from Pure. It is called Out of the Blue Light Up Variety Blush Palette. It has two different blush colors, and it has highlighter. This has to be the most best smelling palette that I own. I usually take a brush, get the pink, and then I take a different brush, go into the highlighters, and then apply it. But it literally looks stunning. I absolutely love this. It actually used to light up. I don't know if it still does. Oh, it still does. The mirror itself lights up, and you could turn it on and off on the side with a little button. I just think it's adorable. I have had this probably for at least a year. You could tell how dirty it is, and I'm not getting rid of it because I love it that much. From ColourPop, I have this Out of Sight. This is actually very expired, and it is very chalky and patchy. It's extremely, almost like a burnt orange. I'm just not a fan of the shade, to be honest. And I have other blushes that I'm in love with, so I'm going to be getting rid of that. I have another blush from Benefit. This is in the shade Georgia Peach. It literally smells like a peach too, I have to say. This gives off such a nice, almost like highlight to it as well. It's very shimmery, and I think it's beautiful. So sometimes if I want to just do a blush highlight, just something super fast in the morning, I'll just use this. I think the formula is incredible. I'm going to be keeping that. Beauty by Pop Sugar. This is in the shade Love Notes. This is actually very expired as well. If you notice, I find something I like and I kind of just stick with it. I usually don't just try a new blush every day. So if I don't feel I'm in love with it the first time or two, I just never reach for it again. But by now it's definitely expired, unfortunately, and I will have to be tossing that. So this blush is kind of funny. It's from Ciate. It is in the shade Marbled Light Dusk. So it's funny because it literally reminds me of the Hourglass because it has a little bit of white, but it's fine because like at least 90% of it is at least pink. They're not being cheap with the blush. And the shade itself is incredible. It is such a stunning light pink. I'm definitely keeping that. So today I am actually keeping 20 blushes and I will be getting rid of 25. So here's what I'm keeping. I feel I did a really good job. And here's what I will be decluttering. So like I said, if I had to choose a favorite blush, it would be the Essence blushes. Go check them out. They are at Ulta or you can check online. They have different shades. Only $2.99. You cannot beat that. So that is my declutter for today. I hope you all had a great time. Please stay tuned for my next declutter. It is going to be on highlights. I'll see you next time. Bye.